hear about it. But if you're supposed to, you take a lunch break, you take a lunch break. That's why you get a break, get away from your work. And just like I believe, that people got the message and figured out that we were closed on Fridays. If there's two people in the office, then you can have your lunch break. One goes and one stays. If you're a single person in the office, even if it's a day a week, if you put a sign on your door, close for 30 minutes, regardless if you're getting paid for your lunch or not. You have to take that time. I don't think, I don't want to be personally, and I don't think the taxpayers want to be slave drivers and you're sitting there eating a sandwich or something and typing away and talking on the phone and all that. You have a lunch break, take a lunch break. Whether you sit at your desk and just kick back or whatever, but close the door, sign on the door, back in 30 minutes for lunch. If we establish a time and take your lunch. And I just think that's how it needs to be. Carol?
Is that just if you work over 8 hours, you have to take this half-hour lunch? Is that an 8 hour day?
I believe an 8-hour day, you're supposed to take 30 minutes for lunch.
If you read the fine print, there's also 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon that you need to give us.
Actually, I believe there's a one break and a lunch. Break in the afternoon is, I know it's traditional, but it's like overtime. The actual law is over 40 hours unless you have a contract. But if you work 4 times, you only work 40 hours.
Nobody is here to trust me, but that's.
It's not overtime. But I just don't think we should be telling people, you sit at your desk and you stay right at that desk and work. I don't care, munch on your cheese sandwich or whatever you have, you take out. It doesn't matter. People need and deserve a break.
Walk around the block.
Yes.
The first point is, I've actually looked up the law about breaks at other jobs. You have to offer a half-hour unpaid lunch break to cover yourself with the law. That's it. You don't have to force it, you just have to offer it. There's no other break, there's no 10 minute, you don't have, that's optional as an employer. If, I believe, because I've seen firsthand at this building, signs on the door, all different times, people coming in looking for people that are not there, that we should either have a half-hour break from 12 to 12:30 for every single office, and it's closed and the public knows that, or cover your office if you leave. If you can't cover your office, you don't leave.
Well, as I said, in offices with 2 people in it, one person can go and one person can stay and the office can stay open. But if you're a one-person office, then you put a sign on the door, closed.
But you know how I
Back
feel
in-
about the fairness thing.
Back in 30
Just
30
because you have
minutes.
2 people, you shouldn't have to stay together. You should close still.
So,
And again, to Polly's point, the consistency, that's the whole thing about what night are we trying to make the late night, and what are going to be our common office hours. We're trying to build consistency for the public. So if we're going to close for lunch, everybody should close for lunch at the same time.
Jeffrey.
yes.
Jeffrey, I don't think they should open at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy.
Well, that's,
9 o'clock would be fine. Yeah. Who comes in at 7? Anybody?
My
Yeah.
contractors do.
All the
all right,
Yeah.
please. Hey,
7 o'clock, it's crazy.
all right. So I think the first thing, 4 days or 5 days? And again,
Why are you
I,
looking at me now?
because you're, I look over here,
Look
but,
over there.
hey, how y'all doing over there? What do you think?
Look at
Come
him.
on. Oh, I know. 4 days, 5 days? 4 days? 4? Well, you work 7 days a week anyway. Mr. Fireman?
I'm here, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. How does the newspaper do it?
I used to work rotating weekends.
Well, that's a lot of
You
fun.
should do what the people want you to
Okay.
do.
Which people?
No.
The employees?
All right, so,
8 o'clock is too early. I don't care.
It is.
so the first thing I believe that we need to decide, 4 days a week or 5 days a week?
See what Will says.
All right.
There's a couple people with
What would have to say a 24/7?
Listen to it.
Um,
I will make a motion.
is
And
what
then
I
we'll
was-
discuss. Is
that
that
is-
what you want?
that is what
All
I'm
right, I'll
looking
make a
for.
motion for a 4-day work week so that we can discuss this properly. Right.
Second.
A motion made and seconded for town offices to be open 4 days a week. And I know people in TV land, and some people might look at this and think, well, this looks like a disorganized, et cetera, whatever. But this is what happens when you do the people's business in open meeting, and we don't have meetings before the meetings and have everything all set and come in here and just go through the motions. And it does, this is the second meeting that we've talked about this, and we'll probably have one more meeting, I'm guessing, before this is final. So, hands.
I just want to go back to what Julie mentioned earlier about, serving the people. I don't think being open 5 days a week is going to do that. From what I do as an assessor, I knock on a lot of doors. There ain't one whole hell of a lot of people that are home, other than people that are like myself that are retired, and they're working. The last time I looked, the entire population of Templeton can't work at Dunkin' Donuts and at Cumberland Farms. They got to go somewhere else. They don't get home until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They got to take a half a day off to do town business. That's not right. Got to keep that evening open for the, to serve the people. I mean, out there, I bet 90% of the people work on the other side of Lawrence.
They come down Route 2 at 6:30 at night sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no jobs around here.
Oh, no
Don't have to
argument,
tell you that.
no argument from me.
Yeah. But I think it's imperative to have,
one
the
lady,
evening.
one lady.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Bethany?
The senior center's a little different, especially when we're in a new building, which will be open to the public. What I expected to do was still be open 5 days a week, but there's myself and one other full-time employee, and we would do the 4-day shifts with one of us manning one night, having Friday and off, and another one of us manning a second evening and having either Monday off or Tuesday off or whatever the person decided. But I do think that for the other offices, an evening makes so much more sense than a Friday. And, the senior center is a little different, but the staff deserve a 4-day work week for all departments. And I think we can solve this tonight.
You're so optimistic.
I think we can solve this tonight. And the employees who were expecting their increase, their voted increase to kick in November 1st, they deserve a decision so that they can have their hours increased.
Luann?
I know Bev said she thought 7 o'clock in the morning was too early for us. Personally, I've been working 7 o'clock for years for the town. Actually, it's one of my busier times in the morning, like you do, you get the contractors coming in, then they jump downstairs, they see me, they get their plot plans, then they hit the road and they go do their jobs for the day. As far as 7 to 7, a 7 to 8 shift on a long day, preferably Tuesday, I have no problem working that either. I've always worked late nights prior to this, and I have no issues working nights. And even extending your days from 7 to 3 or 7 to 4, I'm extending them right now anyways. And I do get a lot of traffic after 3 o'clock. You know, people are coming into town from the schools or coming home, and even after 4 o'clock some days, people are coming in. So I don't think the extra day on Friday is gonna really make much of a difference on a Friday, because it's gonna be what, your basic 7 to 3, and you're gonna be tied up, and no one's gonna be there after 3, so I like the extended hours personally.
Tom, the slave driver.
If that's right, if I leave there.
You know where I'm going.
Right, Bethany? Yes.
Yes. Dave, then we'll.
I, over the years, consistently have stayed late Monday nights. I schedule appointments starting at 3:30 in the afternoon until 7 o'clock at night. And on selectmen meeting night, I block it off so I don't get an appointment scheduled. People know I'm there, they come in to see me, I do a lot of my permitting stuff. People have complaints or something like that. I mean, if we pick a night, I'll change my night to Tuesday, that's fine with me, but consistency across the board is important. Once people know you're gonna be there, you'll have people there. I have them every week. And you wouldn't think you do, but sometimes they just wanna come in and complain about the neighbor's dog, So you sit there and listen to them and try to solve the problem. But I think it's a good thing that you're available for them, because a lot of people, as everyone has said, just can't get there during working hours.
Yeah, and I've actually been in the building a couple of times, at 3:15, 3:30, and the front door not locked, and someone come in wanting a copy of a permit or a copy of this, and I'm just a little old selectman. I'll see if I can find that for you, or you leave me information, I will get that to you, tomorrow. So personally, firsthand seen, I know people that come in because they don't get out of work and they need to do something, and you should be here for them to serve the people. Well,
A review of 30 communities between the population of 7,000 and 9,000, which we fall in. Typically, we're the outlier, starting at 7 o'clock. About 98% of them start at 8 o'clock or 8:30. They usually have Tuesdays till at least 7 or 8. And in the case of just Fridays, you'll see about 80% of them are open on Fridays, at least for the morning. So I'm just giving you some information based upon that, and on those 30 communities. In addition, we looked at another 5 communities just locally, and they fall within the same time frames, 8:30 starting time, and go through, and I believe we gave you some information from the advisory board on this, to at least have as a reference. And you see that they typically end up the day 4:30, 5 o'clock, except on Tuesdays, and like I said, on Fridays. So you have that as the general consensus, the overwhelming consensus for all those communities. We're the only community out of about 35 that start at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure that's good or bad, but that's, in my estimation, that's just, we should try to take it end up. If they've gleaned this as the necessary hours for all those communities, they must have set those hours typically over the years. So I mean, you have that as a reference to end up using to make your decision.
Right. One of the things that I found when I looked at comparing the office hours is that they're not all based on a 40-hour work week. So if they're...
There is some communities that have a 35-hour work week,
and
by the
some
way.
had a 32.
Yep.
There were 3 other towns that worked Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4.
Yep.
That's a 32-hour work week.
Right.
So we're looking at a 40-hour work week, trying to fit it into 4 days,
Yep.
if that's the goal.
Can't have cake and eat it too.
so
I see this as a win-win if you go this 40 hours a day, open 40 hours a day, open one evening.
I was wondering, but
It's an opportunity, we all know we're all underpaid. But this is an opportunity to give to the employees as well as give to the townspeople, to the taxpayers.
If people pay you something, I figure they give it to you.
Well, if you look at the matrix, if you look at what Athol does, they work Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, with a long day on Tuesday, going 8 to 8.
We did 7 to 4.
Oh, the 3 to 4 on the proposal says that right, and you're trying to be open, that goes out, so that's good. So I don't know if 8 to 5 would be a better solution to after. They haven't had that option, so we don't really know.
Or going down the
Building consensus, that's why these guys are in here.
What hours did you work in for the office?
the office hours were.
I don't know, I'm not sure that, all offices need to be open 40 hours a week. It's, there's not that much business really going on in town now, and we do underpay most of our help, and if they would rather not work 40 hours, maybe they wanna work 39 hours, or whatever the hours are they wanna work, I think we ought to accommodate them a little, and I think Friday off is not a big issue. I don't think everybody has to go do business on Friday, as long as they have a day where they can do business at night, during the week. I think we owe something to the town employees because they put up with a lot of grief in this town for a little bit of money.
Had trouble making fire department again. Right.
I think that we all have the right idea in mind. And my only observation, having worked 5 days plus a week for a long time, I've always tried to be consistent with Tuesday nights. I've always worked Tuesday nights, both in this chief's job and my last chief's job. For several years now, I didn't get very many people, but they knew if they wanted to find me, I was there Tuesday nights. And it's just a consistency thing that I'd like to mention is my involvement. It doesn't really matter what you choose as much as it matters that it's the same, or that everyone does it for the taxpayers.
So do you want to
Okay.
vote on the Monday through Friday?
So,
flying down.
motion made, seconded for 4-day week,
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday. Town office is closed Tuesday.
Yep,
All right. Julie?
yes.
Doug?
Yes,
You sure?
yeah, Monday through Thursday. Late night on Tuesday.
And yes. Okay, 4 days a week. One for the employees.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Well, at least the ones that are present. All right, now, because we have the whip cracker here.
I think we can solve this
Uh,
tonight. We all
Bethany,
came here to
we will-
solve it.
We will do this. We will stay here until we
Yeah, we
finish
came
this.
here to solve it.
Let's get her done.
I like that. Let's get her done. Good job, Julie.
All right. Now, I liked Holly's idea of, that we have to offer an unpaid lunch for a half hour. So I think that should be included in what we do, and I think we should set the time for lunch.
Okay.
Okay,
Included in your hours.
so it's included, yes. So
And we have,
everyone, all departments, because there's nothing worse than, do you remember when the post office, we had 3 post offices in town?
We still
And they
do.
all decided to shut down different times for lunch, and you would go to one post office and then go, oh, they're closed for lunch, I forgot. So then you drive to the next one, and by the time you get there, they're closed for lunch, okay? There's nothing more aggravating than to drive all over town, because there's all these staggered hours. So it's to get back to the consistency.
Okay, lunch hour.
So we're in the office for 44 hours in that 4-day time. 42 hours. 42 hours, thank you, I'm sorry, it's late.
See, not carried, not, yes, 42.
but I thought that,
Is that what this vote does?
No.
No, it doesn't. We have to offer you an unpaid half-hour for lunch. That's what we have to offer, right? Okay.
But can we define
No,
the time?
no, we instruct people to take their lunch hour. Because I know there's
All right.
workaholics, and then, well, they're not taking, this
Okay.
All right.
consistency, consistency, consistency.
So you could jump in half hour.
Holly,
Yes, yeah, at half an
I'm
hour.
a big workaholic.
Mhm.
I love coming in at 7. I love the flexibility that if I don't have to take lunch, I can just work through it. I think most people in the town would prefer to work 7 to 4 or whatever and not have to take a lunch. But what I was trying to say is, if someone's gonna leave, they shouldn't leave their office with a sign on the door. So I guess maybe we could do it optionally? Is that possible?
we direct the,
All you have to do is legally give them, we will let you take a half hour. Just make sure your office is covered.
to Julie's point of, and I've done it myself, go to the post office in East Templeton, dang, I forgot it's 2:30 or whatever time it is, 2:45. You go to another one, it's different. So a directed lunch period, we ensure that the employees take their break
so they're gonna work a half an hour.
and, you know,
We're not gonna take.
kicking and screaming as it may be, and it's at a consistent time. I know it's not gonna work. Carol said, I'm gonna work because
Yeah.
someone's at my counter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bethany,
I'm concerned that it's going to be difficult to get that extra 2 hours into those 4 days. That I feel like it would just be easier to have the lunch break considered paid. Let people choose to run their day as they wish, rather than having to stick that extra half an hour on the end of the day. I just think it's gonna be too much to try and get 44,
but the thing you
I mean,
run
42
into,
hours in 4 days.
but the thing you run into, and I run into it myself, you go to an office, you expect it to be open, and they're not there. Where are they?
Oh, the offices are open. We don't leave our,
If there's one person in there, the office is closed. And then the next day I go there, oh, wow, they're open. It's,
but the office isn't. I mean, does anybody close their office?
There is one person in this building that closes their office and has only one person there.
Diana,
Yes. If we all close, I mean, I have people that come in on their lunch break specifically. And if we close them from 12 to 12:30, you're adding another hardship to the taxpayers. I personally am like Holly. I would rather work 7 to 4, work through my lunch, you know, eat as you can, if you take a lunch, and be done.
I don't think we should close the doors.
Bob,
No, I don't think so.
I think,
No,
I think
think
that,
excuse me.
the way the law reads is that you have to offer the half hour after 4 hours, but it does not read that it has to be unpaid. As far as I know, that's not the way that it reads, because there are a whole bunch of people that are on salary anyways. So it says that you have to offer them the half hour, and if we're gonna do it consistently, at the same time throughout town, if they're starting at 7, 11 o'clock is 4 hours. So 11:30 to 12 would be a good time so that people could still come in when they're on their lunch break at 12 o'clock. But I don't believe that the law says that it has to be an unpaid break.
But I don't want people to feel like they
Well, I
can't
don't-
take a lunch.
I don't think there are a lot of benefits to the, that the employees in town get an excessive amount of benefits, so I don't think a paid lunch is excessive.
Carol,
Is it possible to make the hours 7 to 3, and the people that work 40 hours work until 4 are behind it? Because I won't be able to be consistent with the town, because I only get paid 35.
and you're setting your hour schedule.
Well, I'm gonna try to go with,
No,
you
but,
know.
so how has since you've been doing the extended hour thing, does that work and Mondays, and what happens when the holiday hits?
I either have to take personal time if I can't make up that time, because I only get 7 hours, like everybody else for holiday pay. But I usually try to, stay later, but then people don't know that I'm there. So I do think that Tuesday would be better.
To do,
Because
okay.
that way it's consistent.
So, well, it's, like I said, that way you not only have to not shuffle,
Right.
we don't have to shuffle, and taxpayers don't have to shuffle to try to remember. So if we go for a Tuesday where,
I think originally they selected Monday because selectmen's meetings were Mondays, and we were all in the same building, so people could come and do all their
all this stuff.
job before they,
But we never really figured out when the position of town clerk got cut to 35.
It was in 2003.
2003?
2004, yeah.
Okay.
so. Do you remember what the rationale was for that?
That's why we didn't have any money.
Yeah, I think it was when we had that budget cut.
Oh, yes, and then, what was it, several months later, it got fixed again. Luann?
Oh, I'm kind of lost here. Wait a minute.
No, you had your hand up and I
Yes,
remembered you.
Julie's talking about offering us the hour. Okay, so
All right.
say us office people work 7 to 4. We're offered the opportunity to take a paid half-hour lunch. And whether we take it or not, or most of us usually have assistants in the office. That assistant can work while we're eating lunch, and vice versa, we can work while they're eating lunch, hence you never close your office doors. I think if we start throwing in, oh, sorry, we're closed from lunch from 11 to 11:30, I think if you say you're gonna be open 7 to 4, you should be open 7 to 4. And like I say, we're offered the opportunity to have a paid half-hour lunch, and all of us should take that lunch and hope our assistants will step up when they're there to do it. And then they take theirs, but I think the office door should stay open. If we're saying we're open 7 to 4 or 7 to 7:30, I don't want to throw in there, oops, and by the way, we need to take half-hour lunch, so we'll close it this time. I just think we should keep a steady open door.
Okay. Kitchen sink, refrigerator, anybody want to throw anything?
Yeah, it is, it's a hard thing to do.
The
I mean,
filmmaker.
At work, I eat at my desk, I'm not closed at lunch because the kids come in at lunch to use the library, so I'm not gonna close and go up to the teacher's room and close during the lunch. So I know where you're coming from. you know, it just drives, and I don't have an assistant, so it's like, it's either I'm there and it's open, or I'm not and it's closed. So, I know where you're coming from.
Okay, so
Paid
send a
lunch.
message, paid lunch.
Paid lunch,
And I think that's generally been the practice anyways.
right, just,
Um,
the goal is to to stay open for the public.
All right.
That's the goal.
Okay, so we have 4-day work week.
Okay, so we're getting close.
Ow, don't hit me again.
Hey, I'm not that good, I can't reach from here.
I can.
Paid lunch,
Got a big stick. Hey, where's that cane? Let me borrow that.
you still have coffee down there?
Coffee down at
Your office?
the senior center?
At your office, down there at Scout Hall.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
I got everything. My office is the kitchen.
Jeffrey's sick of paying
All
for
right.
it. Go.
I'm gonna start a coffee fund, I'm gonna stop in. Okay, paid lunch, office is open. Miss Harris,
Is it possible to get rid of the 3 to 3:30 being closed on Tuesday?
well, kinda gotta be that way if we're gonna
Okay.
be open.
Definitely.
Yes, to
I just
answer your
wanted to
question,
be open
yes.
7 to 7.
That's clarification, thank you.
7 to 4 and 7 to 7, is that what you're?
All right, next. So, Yes, Bob.
You do know that there's still one-person offices, and that if somebody has to close, there should be a time that, you know, if somebody has to go do business and take a lunch away from, and close the door, then you should say, yeah, we want you to do this between 11 and 12, and not be closed when people, citizens would want to be coming in on their lunch breaks. So, you know, you should make a note that if you do have to leave the office and close the office, that it should be done between 11 and 12, and not when citizens are going to want to come in on their lunch breaks.
Yeah, how many
Yes.
one
I'm
people
sorry.
departments do we have?
Morris.
Can't always do that. Like, there are days when somebody has to come to the selectman's office to deliver the payroll or vendor warrants, or, I mean, like, we try to send one person from the building, but
And yes, there will always be a time when somebody's gonna leave, someone's on vacation, out sick, not working, don't have an assistant that day. So, 4 days, paid lunch, office is open. Late day.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Right.
Tuesday, what's that song? There was a song there somewhere, I know.
Wednesday.
Go to Phillipston. And I only pick on Phillipston people because I like them. Okay, so the late day will be Tuesday. And we will have to communicate that on the website. Can we put Miss Gardner News?
I was listening the whole time.
Okay.
she's really doodling away.
Can you include that in your story? If you
Big
write
decision
one.
made.
Yeah, we kind of need a thing in the
Headlines.
newspaper.
Oh, the
And we can
hours?
we can submit
Oh,
some,
definitely.
we can submit something to home news as well. So hopefully put that
It's
just as
gonna
a
be
thing.
in the story tonight.
Big decision made.
Okay, the social calendar.
Now,
All right,
when are we gonna implement this?
Exciting discussion.
so for the offices that are open 40 hours, and
Can we come in?
would we all
at
agree that
6:45?
Mondays would be an 8-hour day?
Yes.
7 to 3? Or 8 to 4?
I mean, if you did 7 to 4 every day, that's 9-hour days. Even during the late night, you're still only at 39 hours. So I don't
Well,
think you can have any 7 to 3.
I have a a 7 to 3 on Monday,
Yeah.
Okay.
a long day on Tuesday, such as a 7 to 7, and then 2 10-hour days, 7 to 5, 7 to 5.
I can follow that.
And as one taxpayer stated quite correctly, it's kind of privileged to have a job these days and to have benefits. You may not get the greatest pay in the world, but you do have a job with benefits.
It's
And
certainly.
as somebody told me one time, that's why it's called work, which is why I
That works.
avoid it. That was my option, or my proposed hours, was a 7 to 3 on a Monday, which would be 8 hours, and that covers the holidays, so no one has to take their personal time to make up time, which you shouldn't have to do. So any day that there's a holiday on a Monday, you get 8 hours holiday pay because you're only scheduled to work 8 hours. So there's no shuffling around, there's no making it up. And again, you don't have to take vacation, you don't have to take a personal day, you don't have to shuffle around to get that time, which I don't think you should. You all took, a good portion of the town employees took a good hit for the last couple of years, and it should not be taking their personal day to make up time. And then a long day on Tuesday. And I guess I just did it was easy math for me, because I won't be working it, but a 7 to 7 on a Tuesday would be 12-hour day, and then a 7 to 5 and a 7 to 5 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Now, I suppose you could adjust it so it's work 11 and a 12 or something. It was easy math and it was consistent and it came out to 40. Not the sharpest calculator in the drawer, so that was just my solution. I know that's a long day, but Holly.
Right now, how we've been doing it, and how it seems to work really well, since we're open until 3, we have to make up a few extra hours after, so close the doors at 3 and then we might work till 4 or 5, kind of, it's a little flexible, and I think that makes it easier for everyone. You know, Monday you have an appointment, you only work till 3. Wednesday, you end up having an appointment, you work till Monday at 5 instead. So you kind of are flexible. So I guess what I'm saying is, if we could just be open to the public until 3 every day except for Tuesday. And
That's
then
too
have
early.
those hours after that optional.
We make up our hours.
Why is that too early when we're open to Tuesday until 7? You're having that one night a week for everyone that works to come in.
Please stay a little organized here.
That would be beneficial for me, because then I would look like I am joining everyone and working the same hours, which I am trying to join everyone, but I only have 35. So if you
So, yeah,
are
you would
actually
be-
over 40, I'm gonna look like I'm not doing what I should be doing.
Well, hopefully
If
we
you
can
understand.
we can fix that this year coming up,
Right.
and get back to 40. So you obviously would be on the Wednesday and Thursday,
73.
you would adjust to get your,
And that's-
do your 35,
That
whatever.
would be 36 that I
comes
would
out to
open,
be.
which is fine, it's like I'm an assistant.
And then, like I said, that's one of the things, Mr. Advisory Board, put that on your calendar, please. I know you're listening, you're filing.
We have a lot of things that we're looking at, and actually, we're looking at the hours that we work today, whether we gave back 40 hours or not, and we're basing that upon workload. We need to end up looking to the fact that it's depending on the workload, as well as what the citizens have to take and pay in this community for the job that they're getting. So it's a balance of getting the maximum amount of service for the adequate amount of taxation.
Luann,
Compromise to Holly's and the other ones. How about Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays open to the public, 7 to 4. Your Tuesdays, 7 to 7. And then we have to choose to make up that extra hour, either stay late on a Monday with our door closed because we're open to the public 7 to 4, or stay on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Because a lot of us, our meetings, I know we might be switching to different hours, so I'll be coming in one night a week for an hour for my board meetings. Other people have board meetings, so we'll easily be making that one extra hour up a week. Whether it's after office hours, closing your door and working at your desk, or coming to a meeting one night during the week to make it up, so. I mean, then you got uniform days, 7 to 4, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you've got a long day on Tuesday, 7 to 7.
but the thing, Mondays is the holidays, you get 8 hours holiday pay. It's,
Then you'd have to just make up 2 extra hours. And that's only gonna be like once,
It's a holiday, we'd have to make up the
to
holiday.
make 9 hours, because we only get paid for an 8-hour holiday. So, I mean, the extra, that 1 week, we'll have to know, okay, then I'm gonna have to stay here an extra 2 hours this week after 4 o'clock, be it stay late till 6 o'clock Wednesday, Thursday, or, because if you close on Monday, no matter what, you're closing for the holiday, whether you pay us for 8 or 9 hours.
I have been mercifully silent throughout this whole discussion. I just want to say one thing. It's not wrong to work on Friday. I work every Friday this time. The door's locked, but I get a lot done. Any employee who needs to make up time, I welcome you to come in on a Friday and make up your time.
any, Julie? Any input on the hours?
Mr. Chairman. And try and take and compensate for the employees' needs, you're losing the fact that you don't have the consistency. If you start changing the hours here or there or whatever, you don't have that consistency. And that's all I'm gonna end up saying. You go, by ending up saying that we're trying to take and do this, and extra hours here, we have no consistency. If we don't have consistency, how are these people gonna know when to come into the office and when it's open and when it's not open?
Well, if you publish a fixed public schedules, if you do 7 to 4, just as Luann suggested, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and 7 to 7, and on Tuesday, even though they're in the office an extra hour or two, you're not open to the public those hours, but they're still working the time. So you have a fixed schedule that you've published to the public. So the public knows 7 to 4.
I'm saying be open 7 to 4
Mhm,
for
for
the
the
public.
public, yeah.
Set hours, Monday, like you say, and then you just have, that gives you 39 hours per week, and then you have an extra hour you have to make up. I mean, I know a lot of people here work over their hours and have to make the extra hours up. So I mean, it's consistency, and like you say, you can say to the public, hey, we're open Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 7 to 4, and Tuesdays, 7 to 7. That's pretty easy, and they know every single day if they go to your office at 7 or 5 or 4, you're gonna be in there.
Then just pay them for 39 hours. That's what they're gonna work.
Which is fine.
My thoughts on the hours would be, we would have to do, as we did for the override, and put it out there, and ensure people know the hours of the offices and the days. and the times. And I think if we do that a number of times, and ensure that the website is updated, post it on the doors, ensure when people come in, they're told the hours that you're open, would lead to the consistency that it seems people want and I think is important. Regardless if it's the same hours every day or if it's different 2 days a week. If everyone knows the times and everyone adjusts, like, I know people used to come here on Fridays for a long time, damn, and you know, you would bump into them, oh, they pull on the door, no, we're closed. And now, I think generally, people know that the offices are closed on Fridays. So just like that, the time will take a little adjustment, but again, if we put it out there and put it out there and put it out there, people will find out, people will hear about it, people will read it, and it won't be that big of an issue. I understand it's, 7474, it's easier, but just for simplicity's sake, just so, like I said, the Monday holidays, nobody has to stay late and juggle around and this and that. It's just cleaner and easier, in my opinion.
I like your original proposal with the 7 to 3, the 7 to 7, the 7 to 5, 7 to 5. I think it's, people are gonna figure it out and they will know. I think especially on Monday holidays and the 8 hours, I think it makes it easier to manage that time. And once you publish the hours, people will get used to it and they will understand. I think that they're gonna like having a Tuesday open later because of the Monday holiday.
And Carol, for now, the clerk's office will just adjust the Wednesdays and Thursdays until that gets fixed. Because the clerk's office is one of those important offices that people visit and do business at.
And one of the things, like the reason why I was looking at the Friday, I think this is a good compromise if you want to be closed on the Fridays, because people have to post their meetings. Like we have to post on a Thursday for a Monday meeting because you're closed on Friday. So I think having the extra hours on the Thursday will help those departments that have a hard time remembering when to post. I'm one of them.
So, well, I'm just want to make Doug.
No, I mean, I like that proposal. I guess my only thoughts are, it's not quite as consistent for the public, but it's only a few hours, that's okay. But as Luann also pointed out, what about the offices that have, board meetings? So whatever night they're gonna have their board meeting, they're working, 3 or 4 extra hours, in that week. Do we give them the option to close during other times, or are we gonna pay overtime for the hourly people? That's something that we have to take into consideration.
We have the Board of Health, the COA. They generally have Bethany.
I just feel like Luann's hours of the open to the public 7 to 4, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then us in our offices, and as Holly's point is, us in our offices those other times, even on the Monday holiday, making up that hour, and then agreeing with Jeff that how much work I can get done when I stay late compared to when I'm open is, you know, I'm much more productive when we're in our office and the phone's not ringing anymore and the seniors aren't here and the drivers aren't coming and going. So I feel like the 7 to 4 for the public with the employees' hours after hours being that time that we can really look forward to being productive and getting the office work done that makes it possible for us to serve the taxpayers better when we are open for them. And then that also solves Doug's point about board meetings and things like that. We're not closing on some off time to make up for some meeting that doesn't happen to be on Tuesday night. If we're 7 to 4, 7 to 4, 7 to 4, except for that Tuesday evening, it's easier for the public to remember and it's easier for us to float what needs to get done in order to keep our departments operating well.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
you know how frustrating it would be for somebody to drive 25 or 30 miles to get to Baldwinville and know people are in the office but the damn door is locked? That probably would not make people happy. If they're working, the door should be open to the public.
What do you do in a case with this lady here? She says in her flyers and stuff, they're open 24 hours a day. If somebody needs a problem, 8, 10 o'clock at night, who do you call? Who do you call, your department? Somebody needs assistance or something else. You say you're open, and the flyer says you're open 24 hours a day to help people, who's gonna do that?
Well, we're not open 24 hours a day to help people know if there's an
Well, you
emergency.
say that in the paper, Penny, what's Penny and them doing? They're supposed to be doing that 24 hours a day, ain't they, what she advertises?
I do not know of us advertising 24 hours a day, no.
Okay.
That was the sense of having it done, if you ain't gonna have the senior center open 7 days to 7 days a week.
All right.
You're gonna have it 5.
We are.
Okay,
I'm gonna make a motion.
please.
Either it goes or it doesn't. I'm gonna make a motion that town office hours would be Monday 7 to 3, Tuesday 7 to 7, Wednesday 7 to 5, and Thursday 7 to 5.
Okay, motion made. Do I have a second?
The cemetery growing there.
He's putting in his tag. Sign him up.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Don't spend it in one spot.
All right, I'll second it, so.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Yes,
Building department, I only work 30 hours, so.
we will
Okay.
cover that when we get the full time.
Haven't you right now just been, you're discussing 2 sets of hours, office hours and work hours, the 2 different things?
This is the hours that
No,
will be
this
open.
is
This is
the hours
The
open,
work hours?
Yeah,
work out.
So you're gonna have
Hours that the
you're gonna have
offices
another one
will
for
be
the office
open.
hours.
right.
Oh,
This is when it's gonna be open.
Open to the public?
Right.
So we're saying
This is
work hours
office
and
work hours.
open
These are
hours
work
are the
hours.
same.
Yeah, because you're talking about making up hours on a
No,
closed
I'm not
office.
talking about picking up hours. This is 40 hours a week.
Work
These are the hours that if you work 40 hours a week, your office
Alright.
will be open. Okay?
Thank you.
Quiet, it's a good thing. All right, no further discussion. Julie,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
and yes. All right, so we have 4 days a week, paid lunch. Offices, if you work 40 hours, will be open 7 to 3 on Monday, 7 to 7 on Tuesday, 7 to 5 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And the town clerk will, you'll probably be there, and I know you, but you will adjust until for the next 6 months, 5 months. Okay, now we have, in the 40 hours, I believe, of the Board of Assessors, the Board of Selectmen, the Assessor's Office, the Treasurer's Office, the Collector, the Town Clerk, kinda sorta, the Cemetery, and, no, she's not open 40, but she'll probably be there. The Board of Health and Council on the Aging. I don't believe
What
I
about
missed.
highway, sewer?
And they have, the highway has, they have a union contract. They're 7 to 3. The police department is around the clock. The fire department
Usually run from about
is
6 to
their
8.
union
Whatever.
contracts.
You can't be more than 24/7.
Because if you, like, after 3, if you have a problem, something for the highway, you get the dispatch and there's a message, because there's very rarely there's something that has to be done on a road like right that instant. Now, the building department is one where it's part-time. The conservation office is 1 day, part of a day a week. The dispatch is there.
Planning, Community Development Office, which has one office period per week, which I think is Monday afternoons, if I'm not mistaken. There, and yeah, by appointment.
And the
There are
planning
no town
board.
employees, though.
Carl is, he would go back to 22 hours. He'd get his, and building, the inspector is 25 hours. The assistant is 30 hours, which,
You have one other exception. Highway Department Administrative Secretary.
is,
She's 40.
back to 40 hours, but the highway is 7 to 3. I believe that's part of their contract.
Monday through Friday.
They're Monday through, because they've been consistently working Monday through Friday because of their union contract.